The watch I'm featuring today is from a British microbrand run by a husband and wife team. But they are on a mission, and it's one I'm actually quite inspired by. One that I think is incredibly important in the modern landscape of British watchmaking. But beyond all of that, this piece is probably one of the best chronographs that I have seen under £300. I have 4 of them to show you today and plenty to explain. So without any more hesitation, my name's Jason, I'm your watch guy today. Let's get into it. I'll be honest with you, these chronographs with these dial colours, they're gonna sell themselves, and they pretty much have. Their current campaign has surpassed the set budget, but there is still a chance for you to get a fantastic deal because at £299, these are brilliant. What I really want to hammer home is the mission that Helicon are on. They want to bring their watchmaking home. And unlike the men's football team, I think they can do it. Each of these pieces are designed, tested, and assembled in the United Kingdom. No big paid advertisers, no massive agencies behind their launch, just a small team in the UK making fantastic watches. You know that I love a chronograph, and that is based on my obsession with the Omega Speedmaster, the watch that NASA took to the moon. Danielle and Jonathan had a pretty similar inspiration whilst designing this limited edition Project Mustard. In 1966, Britain released plans to the public to build their own space shuttle, but not just that, one that could launch, re-enter the atmosphere, and land like a conventional aircraft. Something that was years ahead of its time because Elon Musk still can't do it now. Unfortunately, it wasn't funded. But if it were, what would that crew have won? I love that little bit of curiosity and design thought that Helicon have put into these watches. They have said that they had some inspiration from the incredibly collectible Seikos that were given to the RAF in the 1980s. Genuinely look up the prices, you'd be absolutely shocked. One thing I will say though, after seeing Helicon's previous release, they've definitely inserted some of their own DNA into this one. The colours, the slight touches in design that differentiate it from anything else on the market, it's actually pretty amazing. The case is simple but effective. They haven't tried to recreate the wheel here, but I do love the addition of that stainless steel countdown bezel. They didn't just leave it there though. This is a bi-directional bezel and it has a fantastic tool-like motion to it. One that's slightly lighter but really easy to use in any situation. The grip to it is absolutely spot on too, with a more wall-like coin edge bezel. The pushers do have a more simplistic nature to them and aesthetic, but they surround the pull-push crown that is signed with the Helicon logo. I love that logo. It brings me back to like the Avengers or something. The thing that I really appreciate about the crown though is that it has a slimmer profile and a much wider diameter, again making it very easy to use, but it looks the part. Now, as well as the looks, they've definitely applied some smart features, and the hydraulic case back certainly shows that. It is rated for both positive and negative resistance, and that resistance is a quite surprising 100 meters, even with those pushers and the pull push crown, and that really does show the importance that they have put into the functionality of the piece, even though they've created something pretty beautiful. As well as that, the engraving of the shuttle and the very subtle specifications add to the more technical like feature of the watch. Above that, it pushes home the inspiration really well. The brushed lugs are accented by the high polished side profile. Now, I'm not usually a big fan of that type of setup, but I think with the fine brushing and the quality of finish to those side profiles, I quite like it, especially at this type of price point. It's all finished off by a sapphire crystal which has AR coating on the inside, because what else would you expect? Look, those specifications are on point for this type of price, so let's talk about the dials. I was pretty shocked when I opened this parcel because Jonathan decided to send me every single variant. At first I thought he'd made a mistake, but after thinking about it and the encounters that I've had with him at watch shows, it made complete sense. Because him and his wife are the type of people that create something, they are proud of it and they want to show it off. And that's exactly what they're doing here by sending me every dial, because they want me to show you, they want me to see their incredible work. And You've got to love that. And I'm really glad that I did send all 4 in, because usually I'd have said straight off the bat, the yellow is the one for me. But after spending a bit of time with that grey dial, I'd be hard pushed to pick between the two. And that's what I love about this release. They've absolutely nailed those colour schemes. The navy blue is more classic and subdued. The grey is definitely different. It's not really a colour that you often see in watchmaking, but it pops in a completely different way. Almost more reserved, but absolutely gorgeous. And with the accents that the black of the recessed chaptering and subdials gives, I think that that's really what makes this dial pop in the way that it does. It is also worth mentioning that this is a 2-layer dial system, and that's why it looks like it's got so much depth. The white border to the handset definitely brings me back to a chronograph that you know I love, but with a much bolder type of presence, and it works really well against those 2 darker dial colours. The brighter dials are usually the way that I would lean, and you can definitely see why here. Dare I call this one Tiffany blue? Those 2 dial options have an almost shimmering type of finish to them in the right type of light, and the black accent of that lower dial goes such a long way to making them pop. They've also opted for black borders on this handset, which I think is a solid choice, and it's nice to see that they haven't just gone the same across the board. They've made that decision because it needed a different accent to it. I'm pretty sure it's the VK61 movement that runs this professional chronograph, and that will give us a nice mechanical-esque sweep to the chronograph hand. It also allows this vertical setup, which I'm enjoying so much. Helicon have decided to accent that with the logo at the 9 o'clock and the technical print at the 3. As well as all of that, it also gives us a date window, which is an added feature. I mentioned the depth earlier, but the hour markers, those batons, again, add to it so much. Now, I know that these are superluminova, but I don't know what type of method they've used to create them. It looks a lot like Lumicast to me, but because it's not in the release, I can't say for certain. What I am certain of is that BGW9 is doing such a good job, and I really do like that it accents the green to the blue of the bezel, and also that they've actually loomed the bezel. It adds so much to the functionality of the piece in lower light situations. Not every brand does that. You see it more now, but you certainly don't see it as much at this price point. It's just nice to see that they haven't dropped the ball with the loom, even including down to the chronograph hand. I don't think we really need to spend too much time on the FKM rubber band. It's absolutely perfect for this price point, but I will go as far to say that under £500, this is probably the best FKM rubber band that I've had. I just love that they've done the simple things right. They've matched the colours to the dials, they've signed the buckle, and it's soft and comfortable. As well as that, it's done what it's meant to in highlighting how comfortable that case is to wear. It has a 41mm diameter, a 47.5mm lug to lug, and comes in at 11.5mm thick, which with all of this added depth, I certainly did not expect. But with all of that praise, where would I like to see some improvements? Well, it's difficult to say. Even when the professional chronograph hits its retail price of £399, I still think it's a really good deal. Maybe applying some loom to the subdial hands just for a little extra functionality. And I would kind of like to know the method of making those hour markers, but that's kind of just the reviewer mindset, I guess. It is worth mentioning that with someone like myself, I am definitely going to scratch up the sides of that piece. Maybe brushing would have added a slight bit more longevity to it, especially with it being a tool-like watch. But as I'm saying that, I'm also thinking in my head, I love how it looks. Can you tell I'm having a bit of a tough time here? I think it's absolutely brilliant, and if I wasn't in reviewer mode right now, what I would say is you need to go to the Kickstarter down below and buy yourself one, because these won't be around forever, and they're a fantastic price. You will see it on someone else's wrist, be it in a forum, be it at a watch show, be it your mate down the street, and you will regret it. It's linked down below. It's active until the 31st of July, so make sure you get yourself involved if you're interested. Thanks for watching today, guys. Helicon is a brand that I've wanted to work with for a long time now. Partially because I really like their watches, partially because I really like the brand owners. They're good people. It's certainly one of those tables I showed I start to gravitate towards just so I can go over and say hi. But mostly, It's because as a reviewer, you learn a lot of things in the industry. You learn about a lot of brands, and Helicon are one of those brands, one of those micro brands that just do it right. They put a heavy emphasis on customer service. They provide a brilliant product at the correct price point, and they want to bring that all home and show that they are a proud British watchmaker. Everything you need is linked down in the description below. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more watch content, and I'll see you in the next one.